Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, heaven Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programas offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
รายการของเรามีให้หลายภาษาโปรดดู suprememastertv.com/schedule
What was most interesting about it is people didn't understand what a vet does in wildlife. I would say people are cynical about what I was doing when they saw a whole gorilla group being saved, when they got scabies from the local community. Then people started to see the value of having a vet in wildlife conservation.
Champion of the Earth, Dr. Gladys Kalema-Zikusoka, Saving Our Precious Gorilla People, Part 1 of 2. Please continue watching to find out more.
Once turning vegan, I no longer get sick, my skin is much brighter with no more blotches, and my mood lifted along with my energy level. My recovery is simply magic now. Christine Vaderis, vegan.
The friendly greeting, Ea Gwe, means how are you in Tuvaluan, one of the official languages of the scenic island nation of Tuvalu. Delightful viewers, my name is Tarina. The lovely residents of Tuvalu wish that you have many jovial moments with loved ones. May you be renewed in the radiance of the divine. Today, we are honored to present our show, Champion of the Earth, Dr. Gladys Kalema-Zikusoka, Saving Our Precious Gorilla People, Part 1 of 2. Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka is the first ever full-time wildlife vet for the Uganda Wildlife Authority. She started working for the government agency in 1996. The caring lady is also the founder and CEO of Conservation Through Public Health, or CTPH. CTPH seeks to better the relationship between humans and the wildlife people in the biodiverse habitats surrounding them by improving community health and livelihoods. In turn, the local residents in Uganda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, who are aided by CTPH, become steadfast partners in wildlife conservation. In 2021, the United Nations Environment Program named Dr. Gladys Kalema-Zikusoka a champion of the earth for her 30 years of helping safeguard primates, particularly the highly endangered mountain gorilla individuals. Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka developed a love of animal people from a young age.
I would say that the most intriguing animal that came into my life was the next door neighbors from the Cuban ambassador. They were living across the road from us, and they acquired a pet vervet monkey. Those days in Uganda, people were allowed to have pet vervet monkeys. And this monkey, which they called Poncho, used to come and climb over the gate, and he used to like to come and pull the cats and dogs' tails. He was a very naughty monkey. Sometimes he'd steal bananas from the kitchen or other fruits. And then one time when I sat down to practice playing the piano, he came, and when I left the room to see what he would do, he sat down on the stool and played a note. And I was so excited. I thought, wow, monkeys are very intelligent. I think that's when I started to become fascinated by primates.
As a child, Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka insisted on accompanying the animal family members to the vet whenever they were unwell. She would stay home from school to visit the vet with her mother and knew that she wanted to become a veterinarian.
After deciding that I want to become a vet at the age of 12, I got a chance to set up the wildlife club at high school, which was a turning point in my life because we took the children to the Queen Elizabeth National Park that had very little wildlife because a lot of it had been poached. So some of the elephants had gone over to the Democratic Republic of Congo, which borders Uganda, where Queen Elizabeth National Park is. Sadly, we lost the rhinos. The rhinos were actually poached to extinction, both the black rhino and the northern white rhino. It was a very interesting experience for me being in the wild. It was my first time to be in the wild, camping and being so close to nature. And I felt that I wanted to be a vet who also works with wildlife.
During her post-secondary education, Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka attended the Royal Veterinary College at the University of London, UK. To her delight, the school allowed students to choose the animal-people species to work with for training.
So I came back to Uganda and I worked with the chimpanzees in Entebbe Zoo, looking after orphan chimpanzees, which were victims of the bushmeat trade. They'd eaten their moms and tried to sell the babies. And many of them ended up at the Entebbe Zoo, which is now the Uganda Wildlife Education Center. So that was a really fascinating experience for me. And then I also got to work with wild chimpanzees in Budongo Forest in northwestern Uganda, one of the strongholds of chimpanzees. And then I finally got to work with the mountain gorillas when they had been habituated for tourism in 1993. So in 94, I got a chance to go to Gwindi and start working with the mountain gorillas as a vet student. And I loved that. That experience was another big turning point in my life because I felt I want to be a full-time wildlife vet because I saw how few they were in number.
Turn to vegan. Freedom as never known before? Told ya.
Beautiful viewers, we will now pause for some moments in calming meditation. When we return, we will learn more about Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka's work with the wonderful animal persons. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to today's show. Champion of the Earth, Dr. Gladys Kalema-Zikusoka, Saving Our Precious Gorilla People, Part 1 of 2 on Supreme Master Television. After deciding that she would like to become a full-time wildlife veterinarian, an amazing opportunity presented itself to Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka.
Making sure that they don't get sick, even from people coming to visit them, like tourists who are paying money to sustain their conservation efforts, they could sometimes make them sick. So that made me feel that I needed to become a full-time wildlife vet. And that position never existed in Uganda. So I wrote to the director of Uganda National Parks and said to him that you need a vet, and this is what a vet does in wildlife. And to my surprise, he wrote back to me and said, your job is waiting for you. We want to hire a vet because of tourism. We're concerned that tourists can make gorillas sick. So I was very excited about that.
During the early part of her career, she found herself explaining the role of a wildlife vet to people who felt animal persons ought to take care of themselves.
What was most interesting about it is people didn't understand what a vet does in wildlife. So I spent the first year just explaining it and showing how a vet is important in wildlife, which in itself was a very interesting experience for me, having just graduated from vet school. People believe that wild animals should be left on their own for natural selection. And, if an animal is sick, it's the next meal for the lion. Or if two gorillas fight, it's natural selection. The stronger one wins. Don't interfere with nature. I would say people are cynical about what I was doing. Some people didn't believe that what I was doing was right. So I had to convince a lot of people. But then when they saw the benefits, when they saw a whole gorilla group being saved, when they got scabies from the local community, they were like, yeah, we would have lost over $1 million a year if this gorilla group had died. So then people started to see the value of having a vet in wildlife conservation.
Conservation through public health is working to save mountain gorilla persons from extinction. There are only about 1,000 wild gorilla persons left in the world.
Mountain gorillas reside in 2 national parks, 2 protected areas. One of them, the first discovered population, was in the Virunga volcanoes, which is divided into Volcano National Park in Rwanda, Virunga National Park in Democratic Republic of Congo, and Mugahinga National Park in Uganda. Then in the late 80s, the Bwindi Impenetrable National Park gorillas were discovered. They're only found in Bwindi in Uganda, bordering again another part of DRC. And yes, they're only those 2 populations in the whole world.
We are eager to learn more about Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka's experience of interacting with the lovely gorilla folks.
It's a really amazing experience working closely with mountain gorillas. The first time I met the mountain gorillas, it was amazing. I felt like I was really connecting with the first gorilla who I met. When I stared into his eyes, I felt a deep connection. It's very therapeutic, actually, when you're with the gorillas. Like, you feel really relaxed when you're with them. They really are gentle giants. They're not like King Kong the movie. They're very accommodating once they get used to people. So it's really amazing. And every single time I visit them, I learn something new. And I've seen the gorillas hundreds of times because I've been working with the mountain gorillas for the past 26 years.
We truly thank you, Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka, for caring for these precious and noble animal folks. May God bless you always. To learn more about Dr. Gladys Kalema-Zikusoka and conservation through public health, please visit ctph.org.
Vegan, light years from inequity.
Outstanding viewers, thank you for being with us on today's show. Please join us again on April 10th for Champion of the Earth, Dr. Gladys Kalema-Zikusoka, Saving Our Precious Gorilla People, Part 2 of 2, to hear how her nonprofit organization is helping protect primates from being exposed to human diseases. Coming up next is Master Power Supports the Whole World, Part 3 of 5, on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. May all of humanity soon recognize the beauty inherent in all animal individuals and treat them with the utmost respect and kindness they deserve.
Russia, leave Ukraine or you reign now. Peace be with you too.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/GPGW.